so, but Adam understood these mysteries. And so when Adam sinned and he fell, he's still operating at 50% of his brain capacity. He could still assimilate that much spiritual. He retained that much in his thinking. But now Satan, in a darkened spirit, being Adam's overlord, could bring this manipulated wisdom up through his consciousness, because he's kind of absent from the light.
Yeah.
And he could bring it up through this dark side of him, the 50% that knows evil, and he could start using things and experiments and all kinds of things to try to get his position back. People don't think about that, see?
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
Adam knew how to do this. And experiments were done. Genetic experiments are not new. They were doing way far more advanced experiments after Adam's sin than they're doing now.
I mean, is it your sense that the enemies, through those people who are doing some of the evil genetic, is he still trying to get a hold of humanity like he's tried to do before? Is that your sense? He's still trying to become a man.
Oh, that's his whole thing. See, in Isaiah 14, when Isaiah said, "How did you fall from heaven, O Lucifer?" Now, that's a key, Steve. That's a key phrase right there. Lucifer. Let me get right there. I want to read that to the people.
Yeah.
This is in Isaiah 14. Now watch this. This is really eye-opening. Isaiah Isaiah is a prophet, as we say, sure enough. Sure enough. I mean, we're talking about Isaiah here.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's so amazing is these prophets like Isaiah wasn't born again. They wasn't born again.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, nobody was born again until Jesus died and rose.
What you mean is the Spirit came upon them, but he didn't have the Spirit in him, right? Is that
no? That's right, and he had to get revelation in his soul.
Wow.
And so his mind, his will, and his emotions. And so you think about that. What kind of discipline was in that prophet to be able to stand long enough and listen to the Lord when every nature inside him was a sinful nature?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's the one the virgin will conceive, and
that's right.
You'll call his name Emmanuel.
Yeah. God with us, and he's the one that saw the Lord high and lifted up, and the seraphims and the coals on the altar, and he's the one that told Hezekiah, and said, you've been given 15 more years, and had the sundial go back. And I mean, just think about that. Well, now listen to this. So he approaches the question, how did you fall from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Whoa, hold it. Son of the morning. Son of the morning. Well, Jesus is called the morning star. He's the son of the morning.
Oh,
this means that he revealed to us right here that Lucifer was Jesus' personal angel. Just the same way you have a personal angel, I have one that works with me. You were given one at birth. This was his. This was Jesus' personal angel. That's why he's called the light bearer. Jesus is the light, and he's the light bearer. He served him. And so he said, how did you fall from heaven, O light bearer, son of the morning? He said, how art thou cut down to the ground, thrown to the earth, which didst weaken the nations? He said, this is how you did it. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. So now we just learned that Satan's throne was on the earth. It was on the earth. Or he wouldn't have said, I will ascend into the heaven. Okay, so we know he's below the heaven.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep fleshing that out here. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. So now we know his throne was below the stars. And we know that stars represent angels. So he's saying, I'm going to exalt my throne above the stars. I will ascend into heaven. Well, now, who did he see ascend into heaven? Well, now we just got to keep going here, because Isaiah is telling us how he fell. He said, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Now, in these Hebrew words, the words flesh pots, crimson, flesh covered crimson, all starts to show up in these Hebrew words. He's talking about a being who has flesh covered crimson. He wants to be like that being. And so when it shows you, he says, watch now, verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. So we know his throne was below the clouds. And he said, I will be like the Most High. So whoever he's talking about is in the image and likeness of God.
Oh, wow.
He's talking about a man. He's talking about a man. There's no other creature he can be speaking of, because there's 5 levels of authority: God, man, angels, animals, and the plant life. And he wanted to be that man. And he saw that the man was created, like I was talking to you about Adam, could go into heaven and come back from heaven. He said, I'll ascend into the heavens. I'll exalt my throne, my authority above the stars of God. I will be like the Most High. I will be flesh-covered crimson. I want that position. And so this is how Isaiah starts to reveal to us how he was going to do it. Now, we have to take it a step further, because he said, how did you fall? He said, because you said. Said. He said something in his heart. So he saw the authority of a man, that the man could say. He could talk like God. He could bring things from his spirit out of his mouth in words and create like God created. He said, I'm going to do that. So he starts talking about where he's going. He's trying to make it happen. And the Lord said, you'll be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Wow. You don't have the authority of the man. And we know he knew this in Psalm 8, when it's recorded, what is man that you're mindful of him, or the son of man that you would visit him? For you create him a little lower than God. And he said, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings, you've ordained strength, praise, Jesus said, that you could stop your enemies and stop a bad harvest, the avenger. He said, I want that authority. I want to be like that. So he starts trying to take his words and become that. Yeah. But he couldn't do it. And so his greatest push in him that drives him is to be a man. He wants to be a man.